Hello, my name is Ben Guerrero, and we're going to talk about basic technique and sounds of non-pitched percussion instruments. We're going to start off with holding the drumstick. You can get the two drumsticks in either hand and just put them to the side of your body. Just relax your shoulders, relax your arms, and then bring them up. And almost make about a 45-degree angle in the center of the snare drum. When the sticks are coming up, you don't want the drum to be too low. If it's too low, your elbows and wrists are going to do this. You don't want that. When it's too high, your elbows and wrists are going to do this, and you don't want that. You want it nice and natural, and as smooth and straight a line as you can from your arm to your wrist. So how you're holding the sticks, you want it to be very loose and natural. You don't want to make a tight grip, and you don't want it so loose that the sticks fall out of your hand. Again, very similar to how you're holding the stick on the side of your body. That's a very natural grip. Right here we have the fulcrum, where the thumb and pointer finger are holding the stick. And that's where the stick is going to be pivoting, moving back and forth. And where we hold that with just a little pinch is really important. If we hold it too far back, the stick, once we drop it, is just going to fall dead on the snare drum. If we hold it too far in the center, it's just going to stay up. It's not going to have a natural bounce. And that's where we want to find the fulcrum, where there's this natural bounce from the drum head and giving us some feedback and rebound. So just a couple of bounces is good enough. You find the sweet spot with the most amount of bounces, and that's a great place to start off with your fulcrum right here. And you do the same with both hands. Just kind of drop the stick. Right now I have a foam rubber practice pad on my drum, or else it'll be a lot louder. I recommend when playing with large groups of people to have some sort of sound muting available until it's ready for an actual performance. It's easier to talk while drumming. We're going to talk about a few basic drum rudiments, which are simple rhythms, rhythm patterns that are commonly played on the drums and can be found in everywhere in drum literature. And it also covers basic technique and coordination. So the two, I would say, the most basic and most important rudiments are the single stroke roll and the double stroke roll. And the roll doesn't mean you have to play as fast as you can. It's really talking about the control you have with your sticks. And it's basic right, left. Also notice how I'm picking up my sticks after I'm hitting. I'm not leaving the drumstick in the drum head. We want to let the sound still resonate a little bit. Some people do these exercises as well to make sure the stick goes all the way up, because you're anticipating the next beat as well. And then the double stroke roll is right, left. And those two are rudiments you can practice kind of all the time. It's going to be something that you're going to be playing every time you're going to be playing the instrument. A simple exercise for a single stroke roll is and you can do the same thing with the double stroke roll. With technique, particularly the double stroke roll, there's the amount of arm from the elbow, the amount of wrist, and the amount of finger, where my fingers are opening up a little bit to let the stick move. And it's a fine balance between those three. We don't really want to play from the shoulder or from the elbow. The paradiddle is a funny word, and it's an onomatopoeia of what you are playing, which is a right, left, right, right stroke. Right, left, right, right stroke. And you want to alternate it, left, right, left, left as well. The paradiddle can be strung together. And it's meant to make sure that you're alternating and balancing the strength and coordination between both hands. And it could be strung together. And there's double paradiddle, triple paradiddle, a paradiddle-diddle, paradiddle-diddle, and there's even more variations on the paradiddle. And then the last rudiment I want to talk about is the flam. The flam has a starting position of one stick down, another stick up, and it's essentially a grace note before the main note. And what we're going to do is we're going to let the stick that's down hit and lift. And the other stick we're going to drop and let it stay. So again, this lower stick is going to hit the drum head first, and this top stick is going to just drop and stay down. That means you're ready to alternate the flam, and this would be called a left flam now. And there are many rudiments based on the flam, including the Flam Accent, the Flam Tap, and then combining the flam and the paradiddle, and a Flamadiddle will be played. With the conga, you want to hold it in between your legs, squeezing a little bit with your thighs, and leaning away from you. If it's flat on the ground, it's going to make a tone, but it's not going to resonate as much as if it's lifted and angled on the bottom. You're going to get lower frequencies as well when it's angled. If you're worried about small children, you can definitely have it flat on the ground, and there's some instruments that are designed to be flat on the ground that have sound ports on the bottom. Many rudiments and techniques from the snare drum could be applied to the conga. The technique's a little bit different because this is a hand instrument. We're going to have an open sound. You're going to get your hand and essentially slap it against the drum and pick it right up. The corner of the drum head, you want it around where your knuckles are and a little bit lower, so it's going to hit your palm. You don't want to necessarily hit your knuckles, but around your palm and pick up. And you can alternate open tones and then closed tones. You're going to purposely leave your palm down on the head so it makes a muted sound. There's also the slap, which is going to be more towards the center and more with your fingers. You can also put your other hand on the drum head, which will change the pitch and tone. And the slap is meant to be an accent. Two other patterns with the left hand, when it's not symmetrical and imitating the right hand, There's also a heel with the base of your palm and a toe. Heel, toe. Heel, toe. And you can do toe, heel, toe. Toe, heel, toe. Toe, heel, toe. There's also a bass pattern. You can make a cup with your hand and hit the center of the conga, and that's going to get you the lowest tone of the drum head. A very basic Latin percussion pattern of the conga is called the tumbao, and it is this pattern. It's going to be heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe, open, open. Again, heel, toe, slap, toe, heel, toe, open, open. Together it sounds like this. A little faster. You'll hear that pattern in many Latin American styles of music. Related to the conga are the bongos. You're going to want the lower drum on your right side. You can have it flat on your legs, or you can have it on a tabletop. The traditional way is to have it again between your thighs and a little bit lower, and you squeeze it between your legs and play it like so. Here, some technique does transfer from the conga to the bongos, but the bongos can be played a little bit more with your fingers. You don't need your whole hand on it because your whole hand will cover the whole drum. So fingers are fine. If someone didn't play with their hands, or they had jewelry or bracelets, you're going to want to take those off with hand percussion. I would not recommend playing any hand percussion with a drumstick, but if someone did need to hold a mallet, you would want a softer felt or yarn mallet to be played on the conga or the bongos. I have a couple of types of shakers here. This is a metal shaker. It could also be a wooden shaker, but a cylinder shape is very common. You can play it with two hands like this, or one hand in the center like this, and simply shaking it back and forth will give you a sound, and then an accent is just a little bit more force. You can also shake it with your wrist and get a little bit of a roll with it. With maracas, there's a number of different techniques depending on the style of music you're playing. You can hold it upright, right at the base, and play away from you. You can also play up and down. Some people hold their hands around the top of the maracas. There's a little bit more control. And some people also play it with your wrists, and the maracas parallel with the ground as well. And then some people also play one-handed, like this, so their other hand could do something else. The claves are two large pieces of wood that are meant to be struck together to make a loud, piercing noise that can cut through an ensemble. If we have our hands completely grasping the claves and we hit them together, it's going to make a pretty dull sound. So to let the wood resonate, we want to minimize the amount of coverage our hand has on it. So if we get our fingers and sort of crunch them in and have them a little open to kind of make a sound hole, we can make a sort of resting bed for the clave. And if we hold it towards the back and hit the other clave in the center with the tip of the other clave, we'll get a brighter sound. Again, if we hit center, it's going to be a duller sound. We want that bright. And you don't have to hit it hard. Clave both describes the instrument and a rhythm pattern. There's a 3-2 Son Clave, which can also be a 2-3 Son Clave. There's also the Rhumba Clave, which is very similar, but the third note in the 3 is going to be just a little bit further back. So a 3-2 Rhumba Clave. And a 2-3 Rhumba Clave. This is the Guido. This is a ribbed instrument that is going to be scraped. It could be made of wood, plastic, or metal. It could also be different shapes, like a little frog that has a ribbed back, and you get the stick and go across from it. You get that scrape, and you also have tapping sounds. So the most common technique is to have your finger in the sound holes to hold it up vertically, and the scraping is just going to be this up and down motion. Also, the taps are going to be this up and down motion. So if I did scraping, that would just be my wrist going up and down and applying additional pressure. And then tap can also be done just by a little bit more of a sweeping motion, so you're not scraping the whole length of the Guido. The most common Guido pattern is scrape, 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 tap, tap. Okay. With the tambourine, you can have a hand tambourine like this. You can also have a tambourine with the head on it. And what you see in a lot of pop rock music is someone doing something like this. And that's fine if you need an additional backbeat and subdivisions. In classical music, it's going to be more controlled, usually, where the tambourine is going to be flat. You're going to get your fingers and hit the edge. So you can play more staccato patterns. Next, we're going to talk about the jam block or wood block. Jam block's made out of plastic. I'm going to hit it in the center with the butt of the stick. So the head of the stick is down in my hand, the butt of the stick is going to be here, and hit it in the center. It's going to get a nice tone, and they come in different shapes and sizes, which changes the pitch. With the cowbell, There's the mouth of the cowbell and then the top of the cowbell. And that's going to produce two different tones. You can also use your hand to mute and then open. So open, mute, open, mute. So there's quite a few sounds you can create with the cowbell in your hand. And the most common pattern in Latin American music for the cowbell is either quarters or quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, and the 2/8 are going to be on the top of the cowbell. Okay. Last but not least is the triangle. My triangle has a wooden holder on top, and we're going to have a metal triangle beater. There's a few main sounds out of the triangle. If we hit it down on the bottom center, it's going to have a lot of overtones. So it's a bright sound, but it's not going to resonate very long, and the sounds of the overtones are actually interfering with each other. If we hit on the opposite of the open end of the triangle is down here, so if we hit right in the center here, it's going to generate a brighter, clearer tone that's going to resonate longer. And if you have a long string that likes twisting, you can pinch the string right above the top, and the triangle will not spin around. And if you need to do a roll, the best way to do it is in the corner down here, and it's just an up-down motion. Thank you. I hope this video was helpful for you. You can always view it again later if you want to review basic technique and sounds of non-pitched percussion instruments.